Okay, everyone, it's time to re-enter the odd world. Rock Gods Ocean Grove are around the corner from releasing their third studio album, Up in the Air Forever. But before that, we are awaiting their return to the stage after 2 years at Unify Gathering. I'm joined by vocalist and living angel Dale Tanner to get you as hyped up as I am about Ocean Grove. Welcome, Dale.
Hey, good to be here, Lily. Thanks for having me.
Dude, 2 years off the stage and Unify is just days away. How are you feeling?
I'm actually I've been sort of like actually visualizing it, and it's become a lot more real than any other point in the last 2 years. You know, every sort of show or potential show that came across the desk was sort of like, yeah, we'll see, you know, keeping a lid on it and not getting too ahead of ourselves. And that paid dividends because all those shows end up getting postponed or cancelled or never happening. So it was like to not be constantly like being pumped up and then deflated helped a little bit with the mental health. But with, you know, at this point, it's just sort of like it feels like I can finally get excited and I'm getting it like the butterflies. It's like it definitely feels a little bit like a monkey on the back almost, as much as, you know, not treating it that way, but how can you not when it's been over 2 years and it's like, oh my God, we just need to get the show like done and out of the way. And yeah, it's just we love playing Unify, and it's going to be a hell of a show. So I'm very excited. We're here, we're rehearsing today, and yeah, as I said, it feels very real. Finally.
Oh man, I'm so excited. And you touched on it before with like sort of previous shows and stuff. It's been a crazy 2 years for everyone, but it kind of feels like you guys were hit really bad with the timing of the pandemic. Flip Phone Fantasy came out, and then within a matter of days, the world felt like it ended. And then you waited a year and a half to organize and announce your album tour. And within days of that supposed to be happening, Australia shut down again. Where I'm kind of going with this is it kind of feels like there's about a gazillion tracks waiting to be played live now. How are you going to work out that set list?
Well, it was sort of a fortunate turn of events that, I mean, it's unfortunate for the bands that couldn't play the new date, but because of the shuffle round and, you know, sort of us getting put up a slot in the end, it gave us that extra 10 minutes. So we were just like, oh, good, thank goodness we got an extra 10 minutes. Otherwise, we weren't going to be able to even barely play anything. So 40 minutes, we're sort of like, we'll be able to at least get a good spread of, you know, all the new music, because literally other than the few singles that we were playing in those tours leading up to and before the pandemic hit, other than that, like nothing has been played. So even for ourselves, we don't even have any idea of like how these songs feel to play live, how the audiences like respond, because sometimes, you know, there's fan favorites that you don't really know until you're there playing the show and things like that. And it's, yeah, look, we're just gonna give it a go with what we think will go down well with, you know, a festival set like Unify. And I think when we write music, we like to, and yeah, Ocean Grove for many years, you know, we sort of try and be as diverse as possible. And one of the benefits of that is that now that we have enough music in our back catalogue and enough like diversity, we can sort of like, you can curate a set for Unify, but then, you know, we have a monolith set, which we're playing along bands like Carnival and stuff like this. And it's like, if we wanted to, you know, we can add a few more heavier songs in there. And then if we were to, I don't know, go on tour with like a June Rats, you know, we've got the more rockier songs and we can do that too. So I think it's just like, we're just ready to start experimenting with all the new music that we have and the wild amount of combinations now that we can toy with.
I can't wait, honestly. A mix of the Up in the Air Forever songs we've already heard and Flip Phone Fantasy, and then old stuff like Bring It On. I'm looking forward to the surprise to see what's in there.
Yeah, for sure.
This is actually going to be your third time playing Unify Gathering. Talk to me about what this festival means to you guys.
Sorry to correct you, but it's actually going to be our fourth.
Fourth? Oh man, I missed one.
No.
That's even better. That's even better.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. So we had 2016, 2017, 2019, and now 2022.
Holy moly.
I know, crazy, right? So what was your question though in the end? I was just like,
I guess, what does this
honed in
festival
on that.
mean to you?
Oh, gosh, it means like so much. It was the first festival that we ever played. On that same day, we signed to UNFD. So like off the bat, it was sort of like, it signified so much. And then the second time we played, we had the Rhapsody tapes come out like a couple of weeks later. So we were sort of, there selling pre-sales out the back of my ute to the album. And it was all, very much an exciting time that year round. And then, we sort of had the very sad but like amazing send off for Luke and Jimmy last time we played. So that was a massive event. And now this time around, we've got, our new album coming out again. And it's bringing up all that, like, those butterflies and those feelings of what Unify has somehow, it's somehow symbolized such a big moment in time. Like every single time, it hasn't just been another show for us. So I think the energy in the crowd is like no other show in Australia, if not the world. I know a lot of people could vouch for that. And I think we just feel so blessed to be welcomed back time and time again and get to share in that moment. And I think the thing that's going to make this time just that much more special is like, everyone, crowd, crew, bands, artists, like we're all going to just be there, like in the moment being like, man, we might have taken this for granted a little bit before. It might have been like, quick to be just backstage or, off in the tent camping ground, just like having drinks and not really watching the shows because it's like, they'll always be there. But now I really think most people are going to be like, oh, I'll set up my tent and just go and catch all the live music there is to see, because we haven't had this for 2 years, and like how good is to have it back. So I think this one's going to be probably the most special of all. So I'm so excited.
Oh, dude, I couldn't agree more, honestly. And Up in the Air Forever and this show that you're about to play for Unify sees another small lineup change for the band. And it's your second record on lead vocals. So you, Sam, and Twiggy have been through so much together. What's the dynamic like now that it's just the three of you? Dale, can you hear me?
Hello, you're there.
Hey, there we go. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I've never had that happen before, but a phone call came through and it just took over my screen. I'm like, anyway, we're back. Go away. Because it was like hold and accept or end and accept. And I'm like, I don't know which one's better. So
I might do that question again.
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. All right. Up in the Air Forever and playing this, Unify gathering again, sees another small lineup change for the band. It's your second record on lead vocals. You, Sam, and Twiggy have been through so much together now. How's the dynamic now that it's just the three of you?
The dynamic is like, it feels really great. We are sort of like more tight-knit than ever, having spent the last 2 years kind of just like having to confide in one another for morale boosts and, just diving back into the studio to write this new album because that's the only thing that we could do. We were, just like living out of each other's pockets for all the writing phase for Flip Phone Fantasy. And that was sort of the intro phase for Twiggy and kind of getting to know that new dynamic. So, but a lot of people called it, when Twiggy entered the band, they're like, oh, it feels like he's been in the band from the beginning. And it felt like that for us too. That wasn't just some veil that like, beneath it was just like, oh, it was total mayhem and we weren't getting along. Like genuinely, it was just so seamless. And the energy that he brought was just such a great revitalization for the band, having going through that, transition and evolution. And it was definitely a welcomed, new energy. And so having gone through Flip Phone Fantasy and that writing process being like so smooth, when it came to Up in the Air Forever, it was just like, oh, well, we've done this before. We know the dynamic. And it just gave us that much more confidence to just be like, all right, now we don't have to like muck around with trying to even work out our like social and human dynamics with this. Like we've got that out of the way. Like we can just get in and bust these songs out. So it's feeling really, really good. Going forward, yeah, we're sort of like when it comes to I guess the public image in terms of like, you know, videos and photos and everything, we're really enjoying the sort of the three-piece feel. And like, you know, the last few videos, it's been really fun to sort of not take the like the sort of just the usual band performance approach and sort of just have a bit more fun with it and sort of just treat it like we're yeah, just more so like a collective, just doing all kinds of fun shit, not just a band, like a sort of a cliche of like, oh, you need, you know, guitarist and drummer and all that stuff, because that's definitely a question that's come up a lot, and I think it may still not be clear for a lot of people. But Sam, you know, since Black Label, since he joined the band, Sam has written a lot of the guitars and most of the music.
Yeah.
Even though he's our drummer, he actually plays probably, if not a bigger role, as a studio guitarist and our producer. So he produces all our music too. So I think there are a couple of important points for the listener to sort of know, is that like through all of this, we've always known that we've kind of had that anchor in Sam, because like behind the scenes, he's kind of running the ship.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a wizard, and I don't say that lightly. Like he very much, he keeps us together in so many ways, and all the great, like, you know, design aspects that you know, we're able to keep our image together so tightly is because of him again. Like he's just he's a very talented guy, and I can't sing his praises enough. And so it's been really reassuring for me during all these transitions, knowing that, like, you know, we've got Sam, like it's going to be okay. And you know, we have the blessing of, you know, through all these transitions, it's always like amicable. It's always with, you know, the love and blessings of all past and future and present members. So that sort of aspect never makes it sort of hairy or difficult either. So we're always moving forward, just knowing like, hey, this is just the next step on the path for OG. And it kind of, I like it, keeps us on our toes, and it sort of forces us to sort of be inventive and more experimental than if we were to say get comfortable.
I love that. Honestly,
Yeah.
I kind of sat here just like listening to you just explain all of that in such a beautiful way, and I'm just like, I'm a little in awe. And I love when I hear, you know, or when anyone hears like band members talking so fondly of each other. It's really quite beautiful, and anyone who's met Sam knows that he is absolutely a wizard with, and everything he touches turns to gold. Speaking of gold, perfect segue. Your new song, Sex Dope Gold, it's your newest song, newest video clip. It just hit our eyes and ears last week. From what I can see, everyone seems to be loving it. What I really noted on this song was, I'm amazed at how you can grow your sound so much, but still quintessentially be Ocean Grove. Like, is that a fine balance for you guys? Do you feel like it's something you're consciously thinking about when you create music?
It kind of does sort of come back to that point of like Sam being at the center of it all, because like we always have not only his production, which has like been a big part of the evolving sound of Ocean Grove. It's sort of like, it's almost synonymous, his production with the Ocean Grove sound. It's hard for me to imagine what Ocean Grove would sound like without Sam producing our music, and the comfort that comes with that, because again, you know, this is something people may not know, but like we record in like Sam's own room, bedroom, whatever it might be at the time. So for all of Flip Phone Fantasy, for all of the Rhapsody tapes, for all of Black Label, and for most of Up in the Air Forever, was just in his, you know, his like spare room in his parents' house.
That's awesome.
So we're not in some big, like, as much as it'd be amazing, we're not in some big live recording studio. We're just in pretty much a bedroom, and yeah, just desk and chair and computer, and just doing it sort of the DIY home way, and that that's like, yeah, a really big factor to Ocean Grove is that we are able to spend the time, which is not like on the clock, like as funny as that is to say,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
not, we have just surplus time because we're not like thinking, oh, every hour in the studio is costing us more money, or we've got some producer that we're not really comfortable with that we have to sort of like tiptoe around and like find some weird compromise. Like whatever we want the end product to be, like there's no like tiptoeing around. We're just like, yeah, we just call the bullshit for what it is. I'm just like, we like something, we like it. If we don't, we let it be known, and we just shit talk one another. And it's a really fun process that way because it just it means that we get the most authentic, real sound possible. And I think that's a really big element in parts to why we're able to maintain our sound despite so many changes, whether that be members or changes in our own influences and maturity and things like this that are inevitable as you grow up. And I think, like, yeah, we're very lucky that at the inception of Ocean Grove, we released the Rhapsody manifesto, and that sort of set out a few intentions of Ocean Grove from the get-go. For most people, obviously we existed for a few years before that, but that was sort of really our first time stepping onto the world map. And we wanted to be intentional about that, of like, okay, what besides the music, like what's going to set Ocean Grove apart in terms of the intention of what we're doing on a larger scale. And so that's also been a really great thing to sort of turn back to. And I do it quite frequently. I sort of go, I myself would turn back to that as almost like like a Bible in a way of like, okay, am I living by the 10 commandments of the Rhapsody manifesto? Am I still staying in line with, what we set out to do from the beginning, which is a lot of businesses have that, they're sort of their MO and their like their ethics and what they want to stand by. And I think Ocean Grove very much has that. And I think that'll always be present, even no matter which way our music goes in terms of style or genre. I think the energy that we present, and very much in the lyrics moving forward, it's always my intention to maintain those aspects that so many people have come to know about us.
I love it. You're so passionate. It's really quite fantastic to hear. All right, question to test your passion there. What song you haven't heard yet are you most excited for people to hear from the new record?
I mean, gosh, I'd have to say that, like, I'm really excited for everyone to hear Bored because, not only because we have the June Rats boys featuring on the song, but it's like, I can't say for sure what's going to happen like for after this album. I feel like with this album, we very much ticked off the thing that we set out to do with Flip Phone Fantasy. Flip Phone Fantasy and Up in the Air Forever, I think, are very much a like brother and sister kind of combo. And I feel like they definitely go hand in hand. And with Up in the Air Forever, I definitely feel fulfilled in terms of the sounds and just the all-round vibe that we were trying to achieve. So much so that like in classic Ocean Grove style, we may never do anything like it ever again.
Yeah, nice.
And we might just go on to something completely different again. And so, but yeah, Bored, I think is a really good indication of that, like the pinnacle of that type of sound that we're going for with this album. Even though there's an array of sounds, it's sort of like, oh, we don't really have to even try to write another song like that because it feels like the perfect song in that sense, if that makes sense. It's really hard if you haven't heard it yet, but I'm really pumped. It's going to be a great like live like festival vibe song. And then I think like, oh my god, like what about the day when June Rats are actually on the same festival or something and can get up and like play it with us? Like that would just be like so much fun and mayhem. So really excited for that one, but I'm really pumped for everyone to hear the whole album. I think we took a risk with like releasing a song like Silver Lining so early in the campaign, and we knew that it was going to cause a bit of like hurrah and sort of confusion amongst fans, but we were faced with that kind of similar decision with the last two albums anyway. I think when the Rhapsody tapes came out, like we were kicking ourselves that we didn't put The Wrong Way out as a single, and we still kind of are, it's just like, oh, what a shame that didn't get its moment in in the sort of light in the limelight, and you sort of think, gosh, what if you were to replace? So the second single that we released on that campaign, I think These Boys Like Fires might have been first, and then it was Intimate Alien. And you sort of think, what if it was the wrong way and not Intimate Alien? Like how much that would have changed people's perception of the album leading in, but they're both still songs that are on the same album.
Yeah.
And I think, exact same thing with Flip Phone Fantasy. We had a song like Shimmer, which was like, love that song. Would have been really great to put that out as a single. But again, it's like you put that out as like single number 1 or 2 or something, all of a sudden everyone's going like, what's happened to Ocean Grove? And then you hear the album and again, it's like, I think we're very much like it's a context band. You got to pay not as much attention to our singles as the album as a whole, because we write the album with that intention of it being experienced as an album, and we're not so much a singles band. So yeah,
I like that.
I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah, it absolutely does.
Yeah.
It kind of sounds to me like Bored might be like the one track that kind of encapsulates what you were going for the album, but ultimately you want to listen to the whole album because you're not putting out one song, you're putting out the whole thing.
Yeah, and we're not just putting out one vibe either. As much as I say it encapsulates that, it's still, there's other vibes too. So
yeah, it's a journey. Every album is a journey. I love that.
Yeah.
All right, I've only got 2 more questions for you. This one, I don't know if it's taboo to ask or if you're even allowed to say anything, but I have seen some promo pics where you guys are wearing real life versions of the cartoon sneaker from the album cover. So I want to know, where the heck do I get a pair?
That is the question, isn't it? On everyone's hot little lips. Well, look, I'm just going to say nothing right now, other than the fact that
all needs to be said.
That's all that needs to be said. But I think anyone who would understand that if we were able to get a couple made, then maybe it's possible that more than a couple could be made. So that's the only hint I'll give.
All right. And now I'm not sure. I am sure that this is a question on everyone's mind at this point. Unify gathering aside, will we hear something about the Flip Phone finally shows soon? Yeah,
very soon. Now that like the floodgates have opened, and I went and saw Midnight Oil last Saturday, in Orange. They played Day on the Green, and it was like pretty much the first proper show that I'd been back to in like 2 years, and it felt so normal. It was weird. Like no one was wearing masks. There was no one enforcing anything at all, and it was just like a normal show. And I just thought, wow, like this just feels amazing that it's just back and just back in full form, and that really like that's an added point as to why I'm so excited for Unify. But just moving forward in general, it's been so tough. Like the toughest part, I think, has been sort of having to chat to fans and reassure them that we're like, it's coming, but not knowing when. Sort of like, I couldn't help but feel a little bit like phony, just having to be like, like we'll let you know soon. But like, I didn't know for sure. Like it could have still been a couple more years. Like there was no certainty around it. And I just had to sort of hope that it was around the corner. And so having sort of like the last year definitely since we announced that tour and had to postpone it, it's been really challenging answering to fans sort of wondering what's happening, because, it's a really, I think it's untouched ground in terms of the industry, like venues not knowing what to do because the shows aren't necessarily cancelled, so they can't issue refunds because it's in the hands of the artist, and the artist is sort of there being like, well, we don't know what to do. Like we're sort of waiting for the government to sort of give a thumbs up and thumbs down. So it's been just like so tricky. But I think finally, we're in talks with our agents, and like dates are like coming through, and we're like giving the thumbs up, and we're like, this is actually happening. So I dare say that in the next 1 to 2 weeks, I'm really hoping we'll be able to have those new dates out. Anyone who's bought tickets, they are still valid. They are, as far as I know, like at the same venues as what they were originally. So nothing has really changed. So massive sigh of relief, super excited. So just a little bit longer, and yeah, those new dates will be out there.
I love it. I bought a ticket the day that they went on sale for me and my best friend. And I can't wait. It was her birthday present, and I can't wait to take her along because it's nearly her birthday again. So can't wait to get her there.
Yeah.
All right.
It's gonna be a fun night.
Thanks, Dale. Well, Gear Up Junkies, Up in the Air Forever is out April 22nd. You can pre-order it now on 2400 and at JB Hi-Fi. Do not miss Ocean Grove's monumental set at Unify, 8:40 p.m. on the Friday on the main stage. Thank you, Dale. I can't wait to see you next week.
Thanks, Lily. It's been awesome.
We'll catch you soon.
Awesome. Catch up.